History remembers the Titanic, but there are far darker stories lost beneath the waves. In this video, we will be talking about 3 of history's deadliest maritime disasters: the sinking of the RMS Lusitania, the Halifax Explosion, and the destruction of the MV Wilhelm Gustloff. Each of these events resulted in thousands of deaths, lives destroyed, and the course of world history would be changed forever. 3. The RMS Lusitania. In the early 20th century, ocean liners weren't just transportation, they were the height of modern luxury. The RMS Lusitania was one such marvel, fast, elegant, and revered by transatlantic passengers. But in May 1915, that legacy was obliterated by a single torpedo. World War I was raging in Europe. Germany had declared the waters around the British Isles a war zone, warning that any Allied ships, even civilian, could be attacked. On May 1, 1915, the Lusitania set sail from New York to Liverpool with 1,959 passengers and crew. Among them were wealthy businessmen, families, infants, and crew members unaware they were entering a war zone. What many didn't know was that deep in her cargo holds, Lusitania carried rifle ammunition, shells, and military supplies, making her, in German eyes, a legitimate target. In the days leading up to the voyage, the German embassy had placed warnings in American newspapers, advising travelers that ships sailing under the British flag were at risk. At 2:10 p.m. on May 7, 1915, off the coast of Old Head of Kinsale, Ireland, German U-boat U-20 spotted the Lusitania. Captain Lieutenant Walter Schwieger ordered a single torpedo be fired. The torpedo struck the starboard bow. Moments later, a second, far more powerful explosion tore through the ship, triggered by munitions secretly stored below deck. Unbeknownst to the passengers, the hidden cargo magnified the devastation, sealing the Lusitania's fate in a matter of minutes. The ship listed severely within minutes. Lifeboats became nearly impossible to launch. Some capsized, others smashed against the hull. Panicked passengers leapt into the freezing water, clinging to debris, crying for help. The public outcry was enormous. Though the US wouldn't enter World War I for 2 more years, this was a turning point in public opinion. Many suspected the ship had been secretly carrying munitions, something which has only recently been confirmed. The sinking of the Lusitania proved that war no longer spared civilians, and it marked a new, terrifying era of total warfare. Two, the Halifax Explosion. 2 years later, a quiet port city in Canada would become the site of the largest non-nuclear explosion in human history. On December 6, 1917, Halifax, Nova Scotia, was a key staging point for Allied convoys. That morning, the French cargo ship SS Mont Blanc, loaded with explosive materials, including TNT and picric acid, entered the harbor. At the same time, the Norwegian vessel SS Imo was attempting to leave. A miscommunication about the right of way led to a fatal collision. The Mont Blanc was carrying a deadly cargo, 2,925 tons of explosives, including TNT and highly flammable benzol. The crew of the Mont Blanc knew the danger. After the ship scraped and sparks ignited benzol barrels, they abandoned ship and tried to warn the harbor. But it was too late. At 9:04 a.m., the Mont Blanc exploded. The blast flattened over 12 square miles of the city. A pressure wave shattered windows 50 miles away. A 60-foot tsunami surged into the shore. The shock was felt as far as Cape Cod. Nearly 2,000 people were killed instantly or in the aftermath. More than 9,000 were injured, many blinded by flying glass. Entire neighborhoods were vaporized. The Halifax explosion led to advancements in urban planning, port safety, and emergency response systems. It was also the first time a coordinated civilian relief effort involved multiple countries, including one of the earliest US-Canada international collaborations. 1. The Wilhelm Gustloff. January 1945. As the Third Reich crumbled and Soviet forces advanced into East Prussia, a massive exodus began. Operation Hannibal, the largest seaborne evacuation in history, aimed to ferry German civilians, wounded soldiers, and personnel westward. Originally launched as a cruise ship for the Nazi leisure program, Strength Through Joy, the Wilhelm Gustloff was once a symbol of propaganda, a luxury liner for the working class, boasting swimming pools, dance halls, and polished wood decks. But war transformed everything. By 1945, the ship was being used in the evacuation of civilians and troops fleeing the Soviet advance into East Prussia. The Wilhelm Gustloff was refitted as a military hospital, then later a barracks, and now a final lifeline for thousands of Germans, women, children, the elderly, wounded soldiers, and even Nazi officials. The ship was built to carry less than 2,000 people. On the night of the voyage, over 10,000 souls were jammed aboard. Escorted by only a single torpedo boat, the Wilhelm Gustloff set sail from what is now Gdynia, Poland, heading towards safety in western Germany. But hidden beneath the Baltic waters was Soviet submarine S-13, commanded by Captain Alexander Marinesko. Aware of German convoys evacuating troops, he saw the Wilhelm Gustloff as a legitimate target, believing it carried military personnel. Three torpedoes struck the Wilhelm Gustloff. One struck the crew quarters. Another hit the empty swimming pool, which had been converted into sleeping quarters. The third destroyed the engine room, cutting all power. In the chaos, there were not enough lifeboats. Some were frozen to the deck. Panicked parents threw their children into the sea. Within 45 minutes, the Wilhelm Gustloff sank into the icy Baltic. Over 9,000 people died, making it the deadliest maritime disaster in recorded history. It was 6 times deadlier than the Titanic. And yet, few outside Europe even know it happened. The Nazi regime suppressed the true death toll. After the war, both Soviet and German officials avoided publicizing the incident. No war crime tribunal ever addressed it. Three disasters. 3 moments that shook the world. Each one left behind scars, physical, emotional, and historical. The Lusitania changed the nature of modern warfare. Halifax taught the world the true cost of human error. And the Wilhelm Gustloff reminded us that the sea holds no mercy, even for innocence. Thank you for watching. If you found this story interesting, please like and subscribe.